Frontline Conversations, leading the debate since 1984.
Welcome to Frontline Conversations. I'm your host, Amit Barua, and I have the pleasure of having with me Maulvi Umar Farooq, the Mees-Wais of Kashmir. We are at his residence in Nagin in Srinagar. And I want to ask the Mees-Wais Saab my first question, that in your sermon on Friday, you referred to a consolidated ballot having been cast by the people of Kashmir. So could you explain for the benefit of our listeners, what do you mean by that?
See, I think you have to understand that the context of this elections, although Hurriyat has always maintained that elections and civic elections and the overall Kashmir issue are two different things. It's true that in the past, the Hurriyat Conference used to boycott the elections under the pretext of the fact that these elections were always highlighted by New Delhi as an alternate to a political solution or a political settlement of Kashmir. So that's the reason why we used to distance ourselves from this process, and we used to say that, elections can be for governance, for sadak, bijli, pani, but elections cannot be a substitute for a conflict management process. So, although this election, is also for the civic legislature and all that, but I think if you have looked at the focus this time is not on Bijli Sadak Pani, although those are important issues for a day-to-day living of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, but the focus shifted completely after post 2019, what the situation has developed into. This time, I think this mandate or this voting pattern which the people have shown is a clear indication of the fact that it's a mandate against the unilateral changes which were initiated by New Delhi after 2019. So this is in that sense a mandate which is clearly referring to the fact that impression that the government of India is giving that post-19, then some Naya Kashmir has been developed and people are, satisfied and they're happy with what's going on the ground. I mean, this is a vote where people felt that it is important to send a consolidated message, vote for one party, which might not have been the best choice given what NC's past has been, but given the present situation where it was, so people thought that it is better to consolidate one party, which can at least to some extent try to see this process of disempowerment which has happened over the last 5-6 years. So it was a vote against that the people have been disempowered. People are concerned about their land rights, about their jobs, about their identity, cultural identity, religious identity. So I think there has been an overall assault on every aspect of Kashmiri life as far as the last 5-6 years are concerned. So I think this time the election was more about, Kashmiris giving a united message to New Delhi that we reject those unilateral changes. It's a vote against the BJP. It's a vote against the policies of the Narendra Modi government. And that is why I think that it was a smart thing on account of the people that they did give a consolidated mandate to one party.
Because there were other candidates who pretended to be separatists as well, and they were roundly rejected, as was the PDP.
So I think PDP is obviously because, PDP, if you look at it, the fact remains that because of the alliance with the BJP in 2014, people feel that this party is responsible for bringing them into the politics of Kashmir. So it was not a party before
that they gave them the access.
They gave them the access. So there was anger against that. And regarding other parties, there was this, impression among the people that it seems that, because all of a sudden we saw so many players coming into the electoral arena that it felt at times that there are more candidates than voters. So in a sense, people thought that it is some sort of a ploy on part of New Delhi where they want to consolidate the mandate in Jammu and completely sort of disintegrate the mandate in the valley so that there is division within the community here. Because if you look at it post elections also, the way in which we look at the as far as the 5 more council members were introduced, which with authority
in the
lines
assembly,
in the
Yeah,
assembly,
yeah.
then the gerrymandering which happened with the
Constituencies.
the constituencies and everything. So I think everything, people of Kashmir were aware of what is happening. They were aware of the fact that what games New Delhi is playing. So I think it's very clear that people have their to a very large extent, people believe that the National Conference is mainly responsible for the problems in Jammu and Kashmir since 1947. But if you ask me that why, because to be honest, I think right now people felt that we have to choose a lesser evil, and that is why the because even I think even the National Conference was not expecting that they would get so many seats on their own. But I think there is the vote this time of the people of Kashmir is a vote which defines their anger. It's a vote also which puts National Conference in a position that they can't undermine now the people, because it's a very clear mandate they have on what issues they have to take up with the central government. The issue of mostly 35A, identity issues, land, jobs, state. I think all those constitutional commitments which New Delhi had made with the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So I think this time the election was a bit different than as compared to Sadak Bijli Pani issues.
And Meera sir, what is your assessment? The events of 5th of August 2019, what is the driving force? And after that also the changes in the assembly. I mean, was the objective of getting a chief minister from, outside the valley? Was that the objective? Or is it there an ideological underpinning that drives the BJP and RSS?
If you look at the focus of the BJP vis-a-vis Article 370, it's always been that, this article has been responsible for separatism and for this. So I don't understand. There's absolutely no link between, Article 370 and the separatist or the people's movement. If you look at it, Article 370 or no 370, all those people, the youth who died, even the people who took up arms, who went to jails, they were not bothered about 370 because that was never their agenda. So I don't understand why, because we understand that why BJP was projecting it as something, because they were trying to give an impression that because of Article 370
in the rest of India,
exactly, in the rest of India, because of Article 370, there's a separate constitution which is there's separate although all those things were diluted completely by the Congress, by the National Conference itself. It was only a skeleton which was remaining, but they were trying to give this impression that is one Ek Pradhan or Ek Nishan and Ek Samvidhan. Kashmir is somehow special, so we get and that is why they are not integrated into India fully, because they have this thing in the back of the mind that we have a separate identity, which was never the case. Because Article 370 was already been खत्म ही हो गया था वो सारा, कुछ रहा ही नहीं था उसका.
So it was
hollowed out. So I think this they used to give an impression that rather than focusing on the basic problem जो कश्मीर की है, which is the political dispute, they found Article 370 as a very viable political tool कि हम इसको rest of India में बेचें, and we give the impression कि देखो जी हम इसको ख़त्म करेंगे या ख़त्म करने जा रहे हैं, and it's going to make a difference, and it will integrate Kashmiris into the mainstream India, which obviously is not the case. That is what we have been saying, that look, हमारा जो focus है, हमारा जो this focus hai, that is what I said in some of the interviews also I gave, that as long as the state of Jammu and Kashmir, actually छोटी आप मान लीजिए अब तो union territory हम बन गए, but the fact is we have the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, where Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh, Muzaffarabad and the Gilgit and Baltistan. See, the situation is that whatever the BJP aims to do, or whatever the BJP intends to do, or whatever they intend to sell, the matter of the fact remains कि as long as there is one area which is with Pakistan, one area which is with India, and now you have post-19 one area which is with China. The fact is कि Ladakh में तो Chinese have come in, उन्होंने territory ले ली है China की, Ladakh की. So post 2019 now China is also a factor. Because China कह रहा है कि that India's unilateral decision, in a sense, they had also condemned unilateral decision of India. So I think I believe कि आप if somehow BJP believes कि हमने जी इसको de-internationalize कर लिया, अब इसको हमने internal domain में ला लिया, we believe the opposite. We believe कि post-19 they have more internationalized it. China was not a player as in this. Now China is a direct player in this whole, because they control a territory of J&K. So I think in that context, that is हमारा जो focus था has been that yes, chale, elections are happening, whatever be the case, gerrymandering kiya, now we have a government. First of all, authority to hai nahi kuch, everything is with the LG. Even the case, so whatever be the case, state na de, which is again a question. But even with the state given, everything is, the problem is that as long as you have an issue where you have people divided, families divided. For example, you have hundreds and thousands of divided families living across the ceasefire line. Same is the case with Gilgit and Skardu and the other part of Ladakh. Unka bhi ek hai connection with the other side.
So one question that comes to my mind, I was asking you about the BJP and its motivations. How would you assess a Prime Minister like Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was also from the BJP, and Mr. Narendra Modi and his policies? What you, and you all were part of a process at that time. So how do you see, I mean, are these two different BJPs, or are they, one BJP which was, didn't have a majority, and this is a BJP which is far more strengthened and has more authority?
To be honest, I don't think that even if Vajpayee had the majority, I don't believe that he would have gone the way Mr. Modi has. Because I think Vajpayee, but with whatever differences we might have as far as the role was with Babri Masjid and others were concerned, but I think to some extent he could understand the fact that this is a legacy of the past, this problem, and we have to address it. I remember, meeting Vajpayee ji, even when he was the Prime Minister. I was very young. I think probably late 1990s की बात कर रहा हूँ. With Professor Saab, we had gone to see him, and he said two things. I remember इस गुत्थी को सुलझाना है.
That we must resolve this.
We must resolve this. And he even said that अगर हमें अलग भी होना है, if we have to, we will separate as brothers, not as enemies. So I remember his words. But then when he became the Prime Minister, he understood the fact that there has to be an internal process with the people of Kashmir and an external process with Pakistan. So he was of the view. And that is why he took that, we have to give credit where it's due. He took that bus and he went to the other side. Unfortunately, Pakistan ke bhi apne issues hain, which happened after that, the Kargil and everything. So which happened, which should not have happened. But I think kahin na kahin the old BJP understood that that there is a political dimension, a human dimension, and a historical dimension to this whole problem, and that is where we want to move forward. Again, for example, I remember that. See, that was the genius of the person, because मुझे याद है जब बातचीत हो रही थी,
and the conversation was on.
And we were talking about कि कैसे मिलेंगे. So we said, constitution. We were of the view that Hurriyat ke that let there be unconditional talks, and he was of the view also. But then yahi tha ki that within the constitution, without the constitution, and he termed the coin humanity. He said we will talk within the ambit of humanity, and that settled the discourse completely. Na constitution raha, na hamari ye rahi, reservations rahi. And he said, under the humanity.
And now, how do you see the BJP?
I think it's completely different now. I think it's like, this year, this is, they want to completely, khatam karna chahte hain the identity of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. See, they don't realize that. Because this is also now, on the one hand, they are trying to give an impression, or I don't know to what. That is where the policy lies. Inki policy kya hai? So, for example, in a situation where Kashmir, where you have only Muslim-dominated state vis-a-vis India, you are, we are watching the rest of the Muslims in India as well कि क्या हो रहा है उनके साथ. So what has happened, what is happening in them since the last 5 years is किसी से छुपा हुआ तो नहीं है. What is happening, the way their houses are being bulldozed, what is happening in UP, what's happening with the madrasas, what is happening with the Waqf, the JPC and everything. So I mean, the people of Kashmir, agar, they are more wary today. Is this, Congress or Vajpayee ke time to, at least there was a secular India we were looking at. Now it's a completely Hinduized and Hindutva India we're looking at. So how do you expect us, we'll feel more closer to New Delhi as compared to what their policies are. So there is a strong resentment in terms of Kashmir, in terms of Muslim policies, in terms of how they're dealing with minorities, because people, Jammu and Kashmir, people are very politically aware. I'm not saying other people are not, but because we live in a conflict, we are a part of a conflict. यहाँ पे लोग बहुत ज़्यादा aware हैं कि what's happening in India, what's happening in the parliament, what's happening in the streets of UP and others. So people are looking at it, and then the fear that, the fact that जो सारा इन्होंने gerrymandering किया, ये सारा जो किया, that, how they sort of, even for parliament, जो उन्होंने this with Ladakh, अपना the south ke areas ko Jammu ke sath connect kar diya. So the whole exercise to see how Muslim vote could be limited and the other vote could be strengthened. So I think this communal politics is a very dangerous game, which the BJP is playing with Jammu and Kashmir. Because
and what is your sense? How will this government fare, given that its powers are, severely impaired and the center is very much strengthened? What is your sense?
I think it will be a constant struggle for them to do anything on the ground. The fact that even class 4 mulazim ka bhi parson unhone nikala.
The class 4 employees don't.
Even now the government
has.
Which is literally the class 4 means chaprasi and all that. इनको तो chaprasi लगाने की भी इजाजत नहीं है. So I think that, I don't think, to be honest enough, this, people understand what motive the BJP has vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir and where they come from. But I think to some extent still thoda bahut resistance rahegi at least, now those people have chosen these people. Thodi bahut resistance.
There will be some resistance.
Some resistance. Because abhi tak to tha, it's a one-way completely, there was no setup, no authority, no framework कि कोई इनकी बात को कोई challenge कर सके. ये ठीक है कि वो challenge करेगा, फिर वो चलेगी बात कि नहीं चलेगी. So that is why I feel कि कहीं ना कहीं the BJP has to see. I don't know. One can understand that in terms of electoral gains and benefits, they look at every situation from that point of view. But I think in terms of India's interest and national interest, I don't think what they're doing in Kashmir or Jammu and Kashmir is helping their national cause. See, I think the concept of India is एक तरफ से आप कह रहे हैं कि हम इंटीग्रेट करेंगे लोगों को अपने साथ, उनको अपने साथ चलाएंगे, बट दूसरी तरफ से आप कंप्लीटली आप तो completely isolate कर रहे हैं एक state को, completely you're isolating a population. I believe that if you ask me, that there is the gap between New Delhi and Srinagar has widened more as compared to the times when there was militancy and violence on the ground. Which is because aaj, I think, I'm sorry to say this, there was anger, there was resentment. Today, sorry, I think there is hate vis-a-vis what the state of India is doing in Kashmir. So I think kahin na kahin, and the sad part is, I'm not only Congress, but other parties, it seems कि all the regional parties, all the other parties, इन्होंने लगता है कि इन्होंने जैसे ठेके पे कश्मीर दे दिया बीजेपी को. Nobody is questioning anything on Kashmir. Because because they the जो regional players हैं, जो other players हैं, you have regional leaders also. This is a national issue. आपने हमारा state ले लिया, इसको UT बना दिया, आपने सारे खत्म कर दिए. And parties like Aam Aadmi Party, who voted exactly, and who voted for the this Article 370 को खत्म करने के लिए. So I think vis-a-vis Delhi and Srinagar,
so you think that this government will have to tread very carefully in Srinagar?
I think so. I think it's not going to be easy for them because people have expectations कि भाई ये कुछ करेंगे. अभी उन्होंने manifesto भी बड़ा बनाया है. We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. I don't know कि कितना कर पाएंगे, कितना नहीं करेंगे. But one seems कि what is happening in Delhi, we see Kejriwal रोज सड़कों पे होता है and his party is every day on the streets. तो आई थिंक चले एटलीस्ट कम से कम ये लोग भी स्ट्रीट पर निकलेंगे, तो इट्स गुड। कम से कम आए निकले सड़कों पे।
So, Mirwais sir, I want to bring you to a little bit to your personal.
Ji.
You were in detention for a long time. You were not allowed to, even go to the Jama Masjid to deliver your sermon. So, what is the situation now?
Since August 4, 2019 till September of 2023, 4.5 years I was completely under house arrest. And this arrest was completely, arbitrary, illegal. No koi case tha.
There was no case.
Nothing at all. They would just block your gate and not let anybody in. Anyway, we went to the court and that process chala, and then, it started. So now, I'm into relatively, I'm able to move. But again, from time to time, it's completely, on their beck and call. Anytime they can block my gate, anytime they'll tell me that you're not allowed to move out. So there is no guarantee. First of all, I was on my own. I would give programs. We had religious programs, social programs, political programs. Politics, so it's now very limited because हमारा office भी ले गए हैं. The Hurriyat has been वो seal कर दिया है. Many of the constitutions have been banned, post 2019. So, but the structure of the Hurriyat is structurally the Hurriyat is weakened, but I think emotionally and as far as as far as the aspirational point of Kashmir is there. Hurriyat is not a party, it's a concept. In 30s it was a Muslim conference, then it was Mahaz-e-Raj Shumari, then it was other, it was Sheikh Abdullah at one time. So it keeps on changing. Maybe the structure will, they might, demolish the structure of the Hurriyat, but the sentiment of the Hurriyat is not going to be destroyed. Because there is a genuine feeling among the people कि नहीं जी, this problem has to be addressed once for all. जिसका political dimension है, human dimension है, and that is what I've been saying. जहाँ मुझे मौका मिलता है जामे मस्जिद में बात करने का, I've limited because press भी I was not allowed to meet the press also. अब तो परसों से जब से इलेक्शन हुआ है तो through emails अभी भी I'm sure if you had come with a camera you would not they would not have allowed you here. So I think it's very, very, very monitored. My movements are very monitored. When I have to go out, I understand they say you have security threat and your security concerns. But then, if there's a security threat and concern, it's for everybody, but everybody else moves. But I'm asked to stay at home. So there's obviously more to it. They want me to be more confined to my house. But anyway, jahan pe mauka mil raha hai, we are talking. We are giving this message that look, even last Friday, I said that look, because sadly the way in which we are projected by New Delhi, by the BJP, Hanji, Yeji, these Algavwadi hain, the separatists, they are this, they are anti-India. So I said that look, we believe that it is in the national interest of the people of India to address this problem. So हम anti-national कहाँ से हो गए? That is हम कह रहे हैं कि भाई we don't want violence. जामे मस्जिद में मैंने पिछले जुमा कहा, we don't want our youth to pick up guns. We don't want them to get consumed in the violence. We don't want them to get consumed in the conflict. It will give us nothing. But we do want but this problem needs a fair closure. This is a third, fourth generation अब है आज जो है कश्मीरियों की which are and that is why I said that this, as long as one part is with India and Pakistan, and so this issue will remain alive. Whatever internal changes they might do, whatever structural changes they might do, magar the problem is still very much there. This problem is not going to go unless we devise a mechanism, and that is why we remind Mr. Modi from time to time कि भाई वाजपेयी के time पे you had a mechanism where you were talking, you were addressing, we had reached to some conclusion तो नहीं, but एक process तो कम से कम चला था, बात तो हो रही थी. We were talking about okay, soft borders, bus services, थोड़ा trade, end to militancy, end to this violence, militarily कैसे करेंगे. I think that is something maybe if not from this BJP, but maybe after that जो भी अब बनेगा dispensation, and I hope that the regional parties and other parties also realize that unilateral करने से is not the unilateral. यहाँ तो इंडिया पाकिस्तान bilateral बातचीत के बावजूद भी मसला कश्मीर वही रहा. Unilateral changes कैसे मान लेंगे कश्मीर के लोग कि भाई आपने unilaterally
कुछ कर लिया. What you're saying is that when the bilateral process has not worked, how will a unilateral?
Exactly. How will Kashmiris accept that?
Right. Maulvi Umar Farooq, Mir Wais of Kashmir, thank you so much for talking to Frontline Conversations at your residence in Nagin in Srinagar.
Thank you very much, Amitji.
Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode of Frontline Conversations.